Well, the federal case against the Buffalo mass shooter continued in court today. Peyton Gendron is accused of killing 10 people and injuring 3 others at the Tops Market on Jefferson Avenue in 2022. A federal judge is now inching closer to deciding when lawyers will argue whether the death penalty should be allowed. 2 on Your Side's Alyssa Clausell was in the courtroom today, and she joins us in the studio with the details. Alyssa.
Mary Alice, all of what went down today largely procedural, but necessary in keeping track of a timeline of this federal case, as there are some major dates and deadlines laid out during today's hearing. U.S. District Judge Lawrence Villardo adamant today on keeping the anticipated September 8th date on schedule. The big news coming out of the court today, the key hearing in a critical question. Can the death penalty even be considered for someone who was 18 at the time of the crime? A judge in court today stating that the end of May is when he'd like to begin hearings on the issue. The defense in court asking if they'd be granted an extension on that date if necessary. The judge's response keeping strict on that timeline, stating they better have a really good reason. Attorney John Elmore, who represents 514 families in civil lawsuits, gave insight into how expert and witness testimony that will be laid out during these death penalty hearings could be supplemented if Judge Villardo's decision goes all the way to the Supreme Court.
All of the experts that are going to testify at these hearings would be appealed, and that record would be something that the Supreme Court would have to decide. They would have to look at, how has the science evolved in 20 years since they ruled that it was unconstitutional to execute and kill an 18-year-old.
Now, in the past, the defense has offered guilty pleas to avoid the death penalty, even waiving their right to appeal, though the prosecution continues to push for capital punishment despite likely appeals. And in court for it all today were the families of the victims. Gendron, however, absent from today's hearing. He's waived his right to appear, though, as Judge Villardo has stated before, Gendron's absence from these hearings may become a thing of the past once hearings involving witness and expert testimony start to get underway. On Your Side, Alyssa Clausell, Channel 2 News.